The rest of my day was fairly boring. I went around the house checking every room and appliances, making sure they worked, followed by going around the city once again to buy a few things. And now I'm sitting in the living room, watching TV and eating dinner at the worst possible time. It's almost 11 p.m., but I don't feel tired at all. I guess I could go for a late jog. I need the extra movement, and it would be enough to tire or bore me out. I'm not exactly out of shape. I used to have a solid workout routine with PE and some extra sessions. But a few weeks of not being able to do so has formed a growing laziness in me. Yeah, that'll happen to you, because eventually you start to realize that sitting or laying down in bed is a lot more comfortable than running around like a madman. I head to the kitchen and slip my jacket off one of the chairs and head for the door. It's not so chilly this time compared to yesterday. Although, I could have used some cold air right now, considering my house is magically always stuffy even with the fans on and windows open. Huh. Oh well. I began with a slow walk down the empty road and take in the strangely calming silence. As a kid, I've grown used to this scene whenever I went out with my parents, but never in the way I'm receiving it now. Okay, well, you spelt receiving. There are a lot of typos in this mod. Typos and syntax errors. I could just walk out the house whenever I want, on my own. Well, naturally, because you're the only person in the house. Huh. After walking a short distance, I pull out my phone along with earphones and finally begin my jog. And we don't get any music for that. After a few laps around the neighborhood, I decide to take this opportunity to visit a place that did come to mind when I came back. The park. The old park I used to go to so frequently, despite everything that kept happening to me here. At first, I always kept coming back because I thought things would change. Which they didn't, of course. Of course. But after some time, I started coming back for another reason. To see if I could find her. I guess we have a flashback.
Finally. I've been waiting for you for for a long time, okay?
You could have just gone and played, though. I was already late and Dad was dropping me off today. He wasn't too happy.
Why's that?
I don't know. He said he doesn't talk to anyone when he's mad, but...
It doesn't matter. Come on. We have to get to the slings before anyone else.
What's in the bag?
You'll find out when we get there. Now move your butt, dum-dum.
Huh? Why am I the... Whoa!
Come on.
That voice cracked. So apparently Natsuki was the same 5.5 years ago as she is today. I can't believe it played tic-tac-toe all day back then. On the swing set too. I wonder if they ever got rid of that one nail sticking out of one of the seats. For all I know, everything could be different now. Or everything could be gone. Although it wouldn't be a kid's park anymore without the rides. So I don't think the latter has happened yet. I head inside, still keeping the music in my ears at full blast, knowing I probably would not be allowed in at these hours. As if my wishes were heard, I walk inside to find a few scenes all too familiar. Old rusty slides, a few swings here and there, and even the small sandbox and even the small sandbox which was the only new thing in here. I'd walked down the wide path along that divided the play area from the rest of the park. My attention still towards the left, where I usually met up with her. The smell of rain was probably just the wetness all around me left behind, like the DDLC mall left behind by the caretaker, probably going ham with watering the place again. That's a very interesting image set up here. I really hope it's still the same man from back then. It took me a few sentences to suddenly think of something which caused me to stop in my tracks. I looked back at the swings. I can't. Can I? After a good few minutes of looking around and contemplating my choices, I sneak over to the swing set. Once near it, I stand and stare at it for a good while, before giving it a light kick to check its sturdiness. For old time's sake. I muster the courage and sit down on the swing. Okay. I had the guts to come this far, but I'm not actually going to. The sound of the chains squeaking against the metal proved my humiliating defeat against my own motives. The wind blows through my hair as I swing. I find myself staring at my outstretched legs as I move. It's weirdly nostalgic. The more I get into it, the more my childhood memories flood in. But they're all as clear as day. Also, if you heard the background, that was my sister. Haven't really moved on, have I? I love the music, by the way.
Why just let him do that? He kicked for no reason, and he just stood there and took it. He even stole my buck.
I'm sorry. I'll ask Mom if I could buy you another one.
What? I don't care about that. Why didn't she fight back or something?
I just can't.
Just forget it. Come on. Have some water. Clean your face up. Ah!
I fell backwards off the seat and back first onto the ground. Why are you out here at this time of the night, Kodonoa? Kodonoa, who I somehow didn't see coming, burst into laughter upon my landing, which only worsens the growing heat in my cheeks. Which ones?
I really hope this isn't going to turn to a running gag between us.
Why are you sneaking up on people this time of the night, bruh? Shan offers me her hand, which I reluctantly take and get up. Once I dust myself from behind, I awkwardly chuckle before meeting her gaze. Yeah, sorry about that.
Again? It's totally fine. I saw you from afar and you looked like you need a minute. So the best thing I could do for someone like that is to come up right next to them and surprise them. But now that we're kind of past that, I have to ask. Why are you out here this time of the night? Are you alright? If it's something personal, I'm not gonna ask much.
No, it's fine. I'm just...
It's alright.
Strangely, she stepped aside and sat down on the swing next to me.
So, come here often?
Really? You really pulling the come here often line on me? Damn, son, damn, Kodo, you trying to get with your boy? Trying to get with your boy? Okay, all right. No, I mean, yes, yeah. All right, let me try that again. I used to come here often as a kid, yeah. So why is there no period? And why is the sad music playing? But now, I came here mainly to relive the past since it's been so long.
Oh? You haven't even walked by this place any other day?
Huh? Oh! No, I just moved back in town, so...
Oh! Yeah, that makes more sense. So I guess this means that makes this visit a lot more special.
Mm-hmm. I really have been away for a long time. I only came back yesterday. This place was the heart of my childhood. In a few different ways, one would assume. But I guess I more so miss the person I spent it all with here.
Childhood friends, huh?
Oh yeah. She was my only friend back then. I felt terrible because I kind of just left her in the dark and moved away.
And now you're trying to find her in hopes of making up?
I guess.
You guess?
I mean, yeah, I want to find her and talk to her, but I'm kind of scared to. Because she'll probably be more mad than happy to see me. I'm just worried that once I face her, she might not even see me as she did back then. You know what? I actually can understand where this MC's coming from. I really can, because sometimes I feel like that about people I haven't seen in a long time, especially people that was particularly close to. I don't know how they'd react to seeing my face again after so long. So, in the words of Shortchange Hero by The Heavy, I can see where you're coming from, but I know just what you're running from. Maybe she already moved on, or might just end once we meet. Or might just end it once we meet. I just can't afford to lose someone like her, but... I mean, she's been out of your life for almost 6 years, my guy. I mean, you didn't lose her, but you didn't have her either. So I don't really know what your point is here. I'm not exactly going to make any progress by staying away, so I'm kind of just stuck. As I continue, I can still see glimpses of the days we first met. Or say, I can still see a glimpse of the days we first met. How she lent me a crayon. Or how she lent me a crayon out of nowhere and asked if I wanted to draw stuff with her.
Wow, that's a lot. Even for a new guy. Well, all I can really tell you is that we can't really predict fate.
Oh, well, tell that to Amor Fati.
She might be upset, or she might be happy to see you. Both outcomes are huge possibilities. And you'll never really know until you just do it.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it.
If you come all this way for her sake, then the least you can do is go through with it. Sure, it may end up in your favor, But I think you'll be satisfied in a way knowing that you at least tried. I don't know. That's just how I view things. It might be a different situation for you, but that's just my advice.
No, I appreciate the advice. It does give me a bit of a head start on what I have to do now. Otherwise, I was just aimlessly walking around, not knowing what I've actually been looking for. 'Cause I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Anyway, what about you?
Huh?
I'm not one to talk, but it's past midnight. What made you come to a local park so late?
Oh, it's actually quite the silly story. My little brother left his toy car in the sandbox this afternoon. When I got home from school, my mom told me he'd been crying ever since they got home. It took us so long to make him stop and actually tell us what was wrong. By the time we finally understood the situation, it was already dark out.
I see. That's kids for you.
Yup.
She suddenly swings back and hops off the swing when it comes forward.
Thanks for reminding me why I'm actually here. And you're right. It really is getting late.
It's the wrong form of your.
I'll just go and find the car. So don't let me keep you here.
If you need a hand, I can help you out. It'll be quicker, and I certainly can't leave a nice girl such as yourself out here this late at night.
Shit.
Shit, MC got the Rizz. MC got the Rizz. Does MC got the Rizz? What the hell? I got Rizz?
Well, aren't you a gentleman? I guess I could use some assistance.
Boys, we in there. We in there. We in there. With that, she simply walks past me with a bright smile. I remain immobilized on the spot. He's like, where did all this Rizz come from? I can't talk to people. Where did I get this Rizz? This was something that's been on my mind for years. I never moved on. But I changed. I changed because of the motivation one person gave me. Another flashback.
Look, I know you don't like fighting, but you have to keep yourself safe somehow. I'm not always going to be here to help you when those jerks pick on you.
You won't?
What? No, I didn't mean it like that, dummy. I mean, I can't be there all the time, but...
It's not that I don't like fighting. I just can't do it, no matter how hard I try. Another typo. Which is fair because the I key is right next to the O key. It happens. I just hope, Pata, if you're watching this, I hope you're catching all these typos and changing them for the full release of Heartstruck. But I'll try. I'll try so you could stop being so cranky about it.
Huh? I'm not being cranky. Ow, 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 ow. Stop throwing the pencils. You're going to break them. Ow.
But what about when we get older?
Huh? What about it?
What if we grow up and you won't be here? Mom said I'll stop coming here when I get older, and this is the only place we actually get to play together.
Then we still find a way. I know my papa doesn't allow me to have someone come over.
Neither does mine. Why? That sounds really stupid, but okay, I guess. Strict parents be strictin'.
But we'll try our best to stick together. That's the point of being friends.
so. We'll always be together. In the end, I was the one who ended up not being there. Well, that's not really your fault. That was all out of your control, my guy. I was the one who broke that promise and her trust. Not really, because you told her specifically that my mom said, because you told her specifically that mom said I'll stop coming here when I get older. You told her that I'm not going to be around anymore in the future. So how are we going to still be friends? And she said, we'll find a way. What? You didn't break any promise to her because you told her you were leaving. This train of thought makes no sense. Unless he's just flat out misremembering events, or just giving himself some sort of false narrative.
You coming, Qilin? The night's not getting any younger.
Yeah, coming. I promise I'll make things right. Natsuki. Oh, so now we finally got the reveal that it was Natsuki. So now it's Tuesday. Alright guys, well hey, welcome to Tuesday. Let's see what the day has in store for us now. The days after have been really slow and uneventful, except for the day after I went to the park. Even though I had expected it to happen, I outslept Sayori that morning. Also, so wait. So I think it was Thursday. Then I think it was Friday last night while we were at the park with Kodonoa. Now we skip to Tuesday of next week, I think. That's what I'm seeing here. She actually came to my house to wake me up by abusing the doorbell. An impressive technique that actually worked. However, the school day was complete hell for me. I tried to get some shut-eye during classes, which backfired and almost got me kicked out of the classes. Dang. Konoha, however, understood my case and let me off the hook a few times when we crossed eyes. Or when your eyes met, because when you cross your eyes, that's a different look. But that's cool. Konoha's on your side because we got that W Rizz. After that, Sayori and I exchanged numbers after she had the idea of using it to wake me up. Of using it to wake each other up. Also, wait, you met her on Thursday. Actually, no, you met her on Wednesday. But it took you only till Tuesday of next week to exchange phone numbers? That's a long time. Granted, I suppose they want to get to know each other a little bit better, but still, you could have also done that over the phone. Because Sayori had no reason not to talk to this guy. Which doesn't sound all that bad, but might be over the top. Right now, on this boring Tuesday morning, I'm staring at the clock with most of my sleep out the window, waiting for it to be break already. I swear I'm not used to this uninvolved in school. But that is just not my day today. I'm usually not this uninvolved in school, but it's just not my day today. Wondering why I had such a hard time trying to read that last sentence. After a few more minutes, the bell shows me mercy and I soon exit my class. I say exit, but I practically wobble my way out since my legs decide to stay asleep longer than me. Now that I'm actually out here, I need to figure out what I'm going to do besides walking around and eating lunch. With my lack of friends and other reasons, I can only turn to Sayori or Kodonoa in that matter. Maybe I could text Sayori since I already have her number? But I again think to myself about what counts as too much closure and not. I think closure would not be the right word in this case. Sigh. Guess I'll just let the world decide how I spend my time today. I start by heading down the hallway and begin looking around the places I'm allowed to be around. I'll head outside once I've had my fill. Oh, this is a new background. This is the library. Reminds me of a university library. I end up wandering into the library, and the first thing that catches my eye is the wide doorway at the far end, which I wasn't expecting to see. Another thing I noticed is how packed this place is. Kinda makes me want to back out. Oh, are we gonna meet Yuri here? But since I'm here, it won't hurt to check out what they have in here. I really do feel like picking up my reading again. Not that I'm in dire need of it, but rather I just feel the need to relive the old days once again. With my current state of mind, I really wonder if I have ever found myself captivated by lines on pages of a thick book. Because you get invested into the story. It's not about the lines on the pages themselves, it's about how those lines make you feel. Where do they take you? I look around the first few shelves nearest to me, picking out titles that seem to catch my eye. A cheap start, but I wouldn't mind picking up something. It's also really surprising to see a lot of students in here already, and during break for that matter. I eventually pick out a book and take a look at the cover. Return, huh? The story features a young man who experiences a great tragedy with the loss of a friend, only thrown back in time to give her a second chance to save them. Oh, so relapse? Or salvation? Or Amor Fati? He discovers that it's not as easy as it seems to save a life, and that the more he presses on to do so, the more his struggles intensify and break him down. Oh, so Amor Fati, okay.
What genre is this again?
Ah, what the hell.
I'm not gonna question cliche plots.
It's not like I'm trying to pick out stuff to criticize. It might just be a fun read for all I know. Wait till he gets to the church scene. I begin reading it to get a full look at what I'm getting into, and begin walking over to one of the seats. Oh, we meet Monika. Okay.
Ah!
As I turn the corner, I nearly crash into a girl who was carrying a sizable amount of books. I was expecting to see Yuri here, considering Yuri likes to read, but Monika's interesting to see too. And since they both startled each other, she lost her balance, and the tower of books she had in her hands fell from her grasp. Books which I immediately went to catch. I dropped mine in the process, but managed to catch hers. That counts as a win, right? This guy, wow, I didn't know this guy was that dexterous. He had enough agility to catch all these falling books and stuff. I didn't know this was Milquetoast from Vigilante. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
It's fine. I'm just glad we didn't fully crash into each other.
I guess there's that. I'm just gonna... I set down the books on a nearby table while she reaches down to pick up mine. This girl has long brown hair that partially curtains her face when she knelt down to pick up my book. Her movements were swift and her entire posture is so firm. Yeah, her posture. Is her posture that's firm. Yeah. I get you. These are a lot of books. Are you taking them somewhere?
Actually, I was bringing these back here. I have borrowed a lot the past week and nearly went overdue because I lost track of where I got them all. Then I felt like saving the hassle for the librarian and put them back myself.
That doesn't work that way. They have to be checked back in. Monika, you have to check the books back into the library before you can put them away. Or else how's the librarian gonna know that the books are back? Huh. Is that so? Anyways, sorry to delay you like that. I was just going to check the library out since I haven't been here yet, and started wondering.
Oh, are you new here?
Yeah, actually. Only been here for a few days.
Well then, as head of the student council, I welcome you to Sakurai High.
Monika's the head of the student council. Because of course she is. Why wouldn't Monika be the head of the student council? And the leader of the literature club. Glad to be here. Name's Killen.
Monika.
Nice to meet you. It's really interesting how all the students who I've met and talked to at this point are of high recognition or position. Yeah, what a coincidence. You met the class representative, the vice president of the literature club, and the student council president. Or the head of the student council. So far you met 3 women in positions of authority. And at least one of them is into you. Wow, no one really talks to me despite my best efforts. I can't tell if I'm lucky or cursed.
I am assuming you don't need a rundown of the school.
Yeah, I'm alright. Someone already gave me a tour of this place last week. Although, I gotta ask. I poke my head at the glass door behind her, as she takes a glance at it. Is there a reason that door is more fancy looking than everything else? And why it's a secondary entrance?
Oh, that? Well, to keep it simple, the school keeps the library open and free to use at any time, even after school hours. And it's not only visited by students of this school. So to avoid the trouble of going through the entire school to get here, they made a back door that leads to the main gate in one turn.
Huh. So does that mean you can sneak into the school via the library? That's leaving yourself viable to a security breach.
Although I do agree that the decor is a bit over the top.
Well, I mean, how else are you going to get people to come to the library? They're not going to come to a place that looks drab and pedestrian. That explains a lot. And honestly, sounds pretty cool. I probably need to know that anyway for the future.
Well, I'm glad to be of some assistance then.
Monika then proceeds to take the books off the table I set them on, slipping each of them to their respective shelves. You need a hand?
I'm sure, if you don't mind.
I guess I could count this as a good use of my time until break's over. I'm standing here, helping out the head of student council with something. Which on paper doesn't sound that fascinating. But being me, I find it almost unbelievable. Especially when we're talking about a pretty looking girl right here. A pretty looking girl like her. A pretty looking girl? That's indeed a descriptor. Even when I didn't know who this girl was, there was this intimidating vibe I got from her. Like she's completely out of my league.
I saw the cover of your book there. Are you interested in this genre?
To be really honest, no. But also, I don't know. Back in the day, this kind of fantasy really wasn't my thing. Even though I used to read a lot, but I like to think my preference has changed over time.
Oh, so you're a frequent reader.
As we finish up, I pull away and wipe my hand before turning to her. I used to be. I'm only getting back into the habit now after years of just dropping it. Although I'm not sure about the end result, whether it'll stick with me or not, or whether it'll stick with me anymore or not. If I give it a shot and it turns out that I actually like it, then great. But if I don't like it, I'll still be satisfied knowing I gave it a try.
Exactly. And that's precisely the kind of perspective I want my club members to follow.
Oh, you have a club too?
Mm-hmm. Even though it's my first time running a club, I still have confidence that I can make it grow into something worth all the effort. Most of my members are really reluctant on trying new things and expressing their likenesses out of shyness, so I want to help them break through that fear. But they do show passion for what they love, even if the subject at hand doesn't really seem like it would grab much attention, and we don't have that many members because of it.
A club that doesn't grab much attention, run by someone who seems to be very passionate about it, and they don't have many members. This sounds like a literature club. This entire description fits what Sarah told me in bits and pieces about the club she's in. Amazing that the MC was able to put 2 and 2 together to make 22. It's a hunch, but may I ask what club this is?
Oh, it's about literature, as I say with my mouth closed. I'm quite the ventriloquist, don't you know?
Well, I'll be damned. Well, I'll be damned. I was right all along. Well, I'll be damned. Well, I'll be damned. She runs a literature club. Huh. Cool, cool, cool. Very cool. Very cool.
Are you perhaps interested in joining?
I wouldn't say Sari has been bugging me about it. But it has been a main concern of hers over the weekend and when we talked in school or texted each other. And it's not like this would do me any harm. If anything, it'll just be another push for me to make more friends outside of my own class. And on the plus side, it would be a great way for me to get back into reading and the idea of literature itself, so I could at least brag about one thing to Mom. What the hell? It could be fun regardless. I just hope they're willing to set my opinion on manga, and if I could introduce it there as a cheap sneak to bring my collection to school. Wow, okay, Natsuki 2.0. Yes, actually. As I said, I'm trying to get back into my reading habits since it would be helpful. I could probably make use of my time being there, and it would actually allow me to explore what more there is to literature. So yeah, I'd be happy to join. If that's alright with you.
Of course! That'd be great! Would you like to come to the club today? I could accompany you to the room after school if you like. Like, oh my god! I remember! Yay!
Monika's spazzing out right now. She's so excited. Oh, that would be nice. Though I wouldn't want to put you through all that trouble. No offense to triple trouble. You could just tell me the room number and I'll drop by.
If you say so. Our club room is in 3E, on the 2nd floor.
Alright. I'll see you there then.
Great.
After that exchange, I excused myself to go and check out the book from the librarian. Kind of glad I got my student card early. After that, I head out from the library and make my way back to class since I notice there's only 3 minutes left until the bell rings. Man, I never knew math could be this fun ever again. I can't tell if I actually found all this easy or was the teacher's positive vibes that helped me push through it all. See, that just goes to show that having a good teacher makes a world of difference. After the final bell sounded off, I waved goodbye to Code Noah and head off to the classroom. She's been very interactive with me, and I can't really tell if it's because of our encounter that night, or if it's her way of familiarizing herself with new students. But it feels nice having someone like that around regardless. no one else seems to approach me in class, so it's not always awkward loneliness with her around. Running Monika's directions through my head, I finally begin making my way to the stairs. After a short while of walking around the classrooms, I finally spot room 3E. I notice that the club members get to leave 5 minutes early, so I guess those who attend this meeting are already here. Sorry's in for a surprise, alright.